Every shepherd has a song. Where does the shepherd learn the song? He learns it from the sheep. And where do the sheep learn it? They learn it from the grass. And where does the grass learn it? We're all connected, right? Human beings are part of nature, and our management of the land and of the animals can have a positive effect and they can have a negative effect. We have a role to play.
It's gonna take a little bit. Right now in California, there are increasing drought conditions from climate change. The threat of wildfires is increasing. It's really scary how extreme they're becoming. Speaking of how hot the fire burned right here.
Seriously.
And this oak too. I mean, look at that oak. Like, you don't see any new growth on that oak.
It's wild.
That's devastating. Look at that, how big and old that oak is.
This one?
This one too.
Jeez.
This is mountainous terrain. It's covered in shrubs that have a ton of dead matter that's incredibly flammable, and there are houses extremely near. We are following the history of the nomadic shepherd. We don't own any land, and so we move our sheep to different sites where grazing can be a service.
Through management of animals, we have a real opportunity to protect communities from fire. At the same time, we can also produce wool and lamb.
We're able to use this tool of grazing to restore landscapes in really incredible ways. I grew up in San Francisco. We had all the things that you were supposed to want to have: cars, good food, plenty of toys. When I was 6, my dad died very suddenly. When I was 12, my mom got sick with cancer. My mom was very strong, very independent woman, and kept me pretty happily ignorant for a number of years. And then her sickness escalated. When I lost my mom, I was 18. I felt this incredible angst and turmoil and a void. Feeling that fragility of life just made me think a lot about what was really meaningful, what was really worth living for.
We established 29 permanent vegetation monitoring plots on the preserve. One of the things that I'm interested in is what are the effects of the heavy grazing impact in a short amount of time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see which plants are dominating. Native California grasslands are important. They hold massive amounts of water and store an incredible amount of carbon in the soil.
One of the neat things about the native grasses is that they have a really, really long root system. Kind of acts like a sponge, absorbing the rain, and then it slowly releases it. Water underneath the ground is having an effect on the temperature on the surface. A cooler temperature is then going to be more conducive to insect life. And then that means there's going to be more food for the things that eat those insects, like some of those birds. So like this thing is all connected. In California, there was something like 14 million acres of grassland. Prior to European settlement, Europeans brought seeds from the Mediterranean region. They became dominant and they outcompeted the natives. Now, most of the grasses in the California landscape are not native.
Now we have less than 1% native California grasslands left. With the loss of grasslands, carbon goes into the atmosphere and warms this earth, and we're seeing just monumental devastation from that. What do you think? You think we can transform all of San Marcos into a native grassland again?
I don't know, but I think it's worth a shot.
I was living in Oakland in my mid-20s. I gained a certain consciousness about climate change and the state of affairs on this earth. There was a burning question of, I need to do something, and what is that something going to be? Then I met a charming man named Jack.
How long did you fire that? It looks perfect. The first night I met Jenya, we were preparing food, dancing with a rowdy crew. She was deep and thoughtful and joyful. That combination really drew me in, and I pursued her relentlessly.
The thing that touched me so much about Jack is that he shared my values and understood them without me needing to articulate them. My hungers were each matched in him. We should eat lamb more often.
Very good.
One of the first times I met him, he was talking about sheep. One of our early dates was my first time working with sheep. We were building fence, and he made some comment about how good it felt to know that this is what he wanted to do, and he was ready to do this for his whole life. And I think at some point I thought, I don't know if building fence my whole life is if I'm ready to do that. But the beauty of working with the animals really struck me. And that incredible lifestyle of getting to be outside, working the land, definitely was a moving thing. I saw this ability to restore landscapes. That really lit something off in me. Here, buddy. Rocco, heel. Grazing has an enormous impact on the land, and historically, we can see a lot of damage done by overgrazing. But it's really about how these animals are managed. We keep the sheep in a tight group and then move the animals along, trying to mimic the presence of wolves or other predators. That gives the grasses the space to rest and recover. Grasses co-evolved with grazers, and so they have this relationship between animal and plant where they're dependent on one another. Unsurprisingly, nature always holds the keys and the lessons. Seeds settle in and receive the water that they need and are given room to sprout inside of a hoof print. Their teeth and tongues are perfectly shaped to cut the plant in a way that doesn't harm it. Sheep carry a whole bunch of biology in their rumens. So they can bring this biology that's lacking in the soil, eat this plant matter, and put that back in the earth. These ruminant animals complete the nutrient cycle in a way that a degraded landscape isn't able to do on its own.
In the course of working on policies and environmental review for more than 30 years now, I've been talking with a number of farmers and ranchers. When managed carefully with clear goals and objectives, grazing was causing the grasses to regenerate. More native grasses were showing up. More oak seedlings were coming up. The water in the stream started running year-round. And it's phenomenal, and really just made me look at it and go, wow, like we could really have a positive effect if we use grazing as part of a holistic system.
When I saw the benefit that the sheep could provide, I thought, that's amazing. That's such good work. But I won't do that because I didn't grow up in a family of ranchers. It just seemed like something that was passed down in family lines. I saw that as a barrier to entry, and Jack saw that as an invitation to go get some experience and make it happen. We spent a lot of time making a business plan and going to different loan agents. And then we started looking to buy the sheep. We had a few promises dropped last minute, and finally we got the motley crew of 400 ewes. We were trying to spend as little money as possible, so we only bought so much fence, and we were just having to constantly build and take down, but we could never get ahead of ourselves, always one step behind. Time slowed way down. Every day was a long day.
We were profoundly naive about how hard it was going to be. But it felt rewarding to know that the work we're doing has purpose and impact.
Okay, little one, hold on now. You want some milk? You want some milk? We've been in operation just 14 months, and I've learned and grown so much. We're able to see results already. That's an adrenaline rush. Here, Rocco. But also, we recognize that there's a huge area that needs tending, that needs management.
Get to see that elderberry just roaring over there.
For real, and look at these toasted trees around it. Wow, it goes all the way down here.
Yeah.
So cool. California seems to be waking up to the fact that we need to be putting money into prevention instead of spending millions and millions of dollars once we're in disaster mode. We started meeting with the Montecito Fire Department to help with fire fuels mitigation. Livestock are the best scalable preventative measure. I have an enormous hope that the lands that we are using to meet human needs can also be the lands that we use to meet the Earth's needs.
What if Betelgeuse just went supernova right now?
Dude, right now. Oh,
It's so sick. I feel like it would also unify the planet for like a minute. You know what I mean? Something that's just so much bigger than everything that's happening here. Just puts everything into perspective for a second.
Yeah, that's very optimistic.
Well, it'd be just for a second.
Just for a second.
Losing my place in my human family gave me a lot of motivation to find my place in something big enough that I could always be a part of it. It gave me an incredible gift of clarity. Made me want to live a life that felt really alive and meaningful. Now it's so clear that I found that. Sometimes the magnitude of our problems can make us feel like we can't do something big enough. So is it even worth doing something small? When we step into taking action on that small level, like that action is itself big. Hope comes from our actions. When you do something, working towards what you care about, you can't help but feel hope. That's something that matters.